Have you ever stood at a crossroads in your life, looking at two different paths? One path feels familiar, maybe even comfortable, but you know it leads nowhere new. The other path is uncertain, a little scary, but it calls to your heart with a promise of something more. This is the choice we face when we decide to truly grow. It's about daring to step into the arena of our own becoming. This journey isn't about changing who you are at your core. Instead, it is about shedding the layers that are no longer serving you, the ones that keep you small and prevent you from living a wholehearted life. It is the bravest thing we can possibly do. Personal growth is not a luxury. It is a necessity for a life filled with meaning and connection. When we commit to our own evolution, we are essentially saying, I am worthy of becoming the best version of myself. This process asks us to be vulnerable, to look at our own patterns and our own stories with honesty and compassion. It requires us to get curious about our own lives. Why do we do the things we do? What fears are holding us back? Answering these questions is where the real work begins. It's not always easy, but it is always worth the effort to understand ourselves more deeply. This journey of self-discovery is deeply intertwined with the people we choose to have in our lives. Our relationships should be places where we can be our authentic selves, where we feel seen, heard, and valued. They should be spaces that encourage our growth, not stifle it. Think of your relationships as a garden. Some connections are like sunshine and rain, helping you blossom and reach your full potential. They nurture your spirit and celebrate your successes. These are the connections that fuel our courage and remind us that we are not alone in the arena of life, and that is a powerful, beautiful thing. However, sometimes we find that certain relationships feel more like shadows, casting doubt on our light and making it difficult to grow. They can drain our energy and leave us feeling depleted, small, or unseen. Recognizing this is not about placing blame or pointing fingers at others. It is simply about acknowledging that not all connections are meant to last a lifetime. Some are there to teach us lessons about ourselves, about our boundaries, and about what we truly need to thrive. Honoring these lessons is a profound act of self-respect and an essential part of our journey towards a more authentic and joyful existence. Choosing to pursue personal growth often means we have to make difficult decisions. It means we might have to choose the uncertain path of becoming over the comfortable path of staying the same. This choice can feel incredibly daunting, especially when it involves relationships that have been a part of our lives for a long time. We might worry about hurting someone's feelings or creating conflict. But the truth is, staying in a situation that hinders your growth is a disservice to both you and the other person. You deserve to be in relationships that lift you up, and they deserve someone who can show up fully and authentically, which you cannot do if you are shrinking yourself. So, how do we begin to evaluate our relationships with kindness and clarity? It starts with gentle self-reflection. Ask yourself some honest questions. How do I feel after spending time with this person? Do I feel energized and inspired, or do I feel drained and anxious? Do I feel like I can share my true thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment? Can I celebrate my wins without feeling like I need to downplay them? These questions are not about creating a scorecard for your friends or family. They are about tuning into your own emotional and spiritual well-being, listening to the quiet wisdom of your heart. This evaluation is a practice in mindfulness. It's about paying attention to the subtle shifts in your energy and your mood. Sometimes, a relationship isn't overtly toxic, but it has simply reached its natural conclusion. People grow and change, and sometimes we grow in different directions. Acknowledging this is not a failure. It is a sign of maturity and self-awareness. It's a testament to your commitment to living a life that is aligned with your values. Allowing a relationship to end gracefully can be one of the most compassionate things you do for yourself and for the other person involved in the long run. Remember to approach this process with deep empathy. Everyone is doing the best they can with the tools they have. When we realize a relationship is no longer serving our growth, it's an invitation to practice compassion, not judgment. It's about understanding that your needs are valid, and so are theirs, even if those needs no longer align. This empathetic stance allows you to make decisions from a place of love and respect, rather than from a place of anger or resentment. It honors the connection you once shared while also honoring the person you are becoming. Setting boundaries is one of the most courageous and compassionate things we can do for ourselves and for the people we love. A boundary is not a wall you build to shut people out. Instead, think of it as a gate you build around your heart's garden. It's a way of saying, this is what is okay for me, and this is what is not okay. It's about defining what you need to feel safe, respected, and valued in your relationships. Without boundaries, we can easily become resentful, and resentment is like a poison to connection. Clear boundaries are a prerequisite for true, wholehearted connection with others. The first step in setting a boundary is identifying what you need. This requires you to get quiet and listen to yourself. What behaviors or situations leave you feeling uncomfortable, anxious, or depleted? Maybe it's a friend who constantly criticizes your choices. Perhaps it's a family member who doesn't respect your time. Once you know what you need, you can begin to articulate it. For example, you might decide, I need our conversations to be supportive, so I will not engage in discussions that are critical of my life choices. This clarity is for you first. It is your internal compass. When you are ready to communicate a boundary, do it with kindness and firmness. The goal is not to control the other person's behavior, but to state what you are going to do. Use I statements to express your feelings and needs without blaming the other person. You could say something like, I feel hurt when jokes are made at my expense. From now on, if that happens, I will let you know that I'm not comfortable and I will step away from the conversation. This approach is clear, direct, and respectful. It honors your own feelings while giving the other person a choice in how they respond. Be prepared for the possibility that the other person may not react well. They might get defensive, angry, or try to make you feel guilty. This is not a sign that your boundary is wrong, it is often a sign that the boundary is necessary. Hold your ground with compassion. You can say, I understand this is difficult to hear, and I value our relationship, which is why I need to be honest about what I need. Setting boundaries is a practice. It takes courage, and it might feel awkward at first, but it is the path to healthier, more authentic relationships. Communicating your decision to step back from a relationship is a delicate and vulnerable act. It requires a great deal of courage to choose a different path, especially when it means letting go of a connection that was once important. The key is to handle this conversation with as much grace and empathy as you can muster. Avoid blaming or listing all the things the other person did wrong. That approach only leads to more pain and defensiveness. Instead, focus on your own journey and your own needs. Frame the decision as something you are doing for your own well-being and growth, which is the honest truth. You can start the conversation by acknowledging the good things about the relationship. You might say, I want you to know how much I've valued the time we've spent together and the support you've given me over the years. This honors the past and shows respect for the person. Then you can gently explain your decision using I statements. For example, I am on a journey of self-discovery right now, and I've realized that I need to create more space in my life to focus on my own growth. This means I need to step back from our friendship for a while. This is honest, kind, and non-accusatory. It is important to be clear and direct, but also gentle. Vague statements or ghosting someone can cause more confusion and hurt than a difficult, honest conversation. You do not need to provide a long list of reasons or justify your decision excessively. A simple, heartfelt explanation is enough. You are not responsible for managing the other person's emotional reaction, but you are responsible for delivering your message with integrity and compassion. Your role is to speak your truth with kindness, and then allow them the space to process it in their own way. This journey of choosing yourself, of prioritizing your growth, and of setting loving boundaries is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong practice of daring greatly. There will be moments of fear and uncertainty, but there will also be moments of profound joy, freedom, and deep connection. By choosing to walk this path, you are not just building a better life for yourself. You are also becoming a person who can show up for others in a more authentic and wholehearted way. Have courage, be kind to yourself, and know that you are worthy of relationships that celebrate all of who you are and all of who you are becoming.